The sports world was taken aback by a recent move made by Caitlin Clark and Michael Jordan. Something amazing occurs when the most beautiful female basketball player and the best basketball player of all time collaborate to improve someone's life. When they offered Sophie Cunningham $27, she was taken aback. Sophie Cunningham, an experienced WNBA player with a reputation for perseverance and hard work, is summoned to a meeting. She anticipates a standard conversation regarding the plays or team strategies for the upcoming season. However, Michael Jordan then appears. That Michael Jordan, indeed. Caitlin Clark, a rookie star who has been transforming the sports world, is right behind him. When they broke the news to each other, Sophie's response was amazing. Nike contributed $27 million. That's more than the majority of WNBA players have encountered in their whole careers. We are discussing the transfer of wealth between generations, the kind that affects not only your life, but also the future of your family for many years to come. However, this story is not only about one individual getting paid. It's about women's basketball receiving the recognition and encouragement it so well deserves. Michael Jordan, who started Nike's basketball dynasty, also made it possible. When it comes to endorsements, WNBA players have been treated unfairly for years. The majority of WNBA players are fortunate enough to earn a few $1,000s annually from sponsorships, whereas NBA players sign contracts worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Seeing gifted female athletes put in just as much effort, yet make far less than their male counterparts has infuriated me. Sophie Cunningham is conscious of this issue. She has shown herself to be a dependable three-point shooter and a player who plays with intensity every night since being selected by the Phoenix Mercury in the 2019 NBA draft. She made 37.8% of her shots from outside the arc and averaged 8.2 points per game the previous season. Outstanding figures for any team. However, a hefty endorsement deal hasn't always followed from becoming a great basketball player. Sophie might have a contract with a modest sports company and a few local sponsorships, but nothing that would make you wealthy. Everything changed when Caitlin Clark joined the picture. Clark did more than simply sign a deal with the WNBA. Declaring that women's basketball was prepared for action, she kicked down the door. More people began to watch her game than ever before. All of a sudden, people who had never watched women's basketball were paying attention to see what all the excitement was about. Nike realized they had been sleeping on a gold mine when they found out. Clark was drawing TV numbers that were comparable to men's games, selling out venues, and creating social media buzz that marketing executives could only dream of. Few female basketball players have ever agreed to a deal that purportedly contained aspirations to start their own shoe company. Michael Jordan enters the picture at this point. MJ is still tightly linked to Nike and the Jordan brand in addition to being a wealthy retired athlete. He's curious about what's going on in women's basketball. When he saw the growing popularity of women's sports, the entrepreneur who transformed athlete endorsements decided to get involved. Jordan and Clark have been talking about ways to improve women's basketball. They both concluded that it was insufficient to pay just one renowned person. Leveling up was necessary for the entire sport. Then someone mentioned Sophie Cunningham. Sophie and Caitlin had become friends despite playing on opposite teams. Jordan and Clark therefore presented Nike with a suggestion. They desired Sophie's participation in the latest wave of endorsements for women's basketball. Not a minor problem, but one that would garner media interest and demonstrate to other companies the value of investing in WNBA players. It must have been thrilling to negotiate. It's amazing to get $27 million for a role player. However, Jordan was heavily involved and Clark's notoriety gave it more legitimacy. This is my league. She was basically saying, these are my coworkers and they ought to be compensated. They informed Sophie that the meeting would be emotionally charged. At first, she found it hard to believe. Cash, marketing campaigns, signature clothing, and chances to expand her brand internationally are all included in the arrangement. We are discussing Sophie Cunningham's prospects for celebrity. Nike's investment in Sophie serves as a warning to other businesses. To be deserving of a large salary, you don't need to be the biggest celebrity. Veterans, teammates, and role players are all crucial. Many more players who have been underappreciated for far too long may benefit from this. Now, consider the significance of $27 million to Sophie Cunningham. In the WNBA, the biggest salary is approximately $200,000 annually. Sophie would not earn nearly as much as she would under this Nike contract, even if she continued to play for 10 more years at the maximum wage. This amount is meant for retirement. Your family will have long-term financial security as a result. There have been rumors that other companies are re-evaluating WNBA players. Given that Nike is willing to pay $27 million on Sophie Cunningham, how much would Adidas, Under Armour, or New Balance be willing to spend on other athletes? Suddenly, the market opens. Having a player with such an endorsement contract is essential for the Indiana Fever. It makes the team more visible overall. A team whose players have garnered large sponsorships may be of interest to free agents. It's equally fascinating to consider the global ramifications. Given that Nike is a worldwide brand, this agreement probably offers chances for international marketing. Sophie is capable of representing women's basketball on a national and worldwide level. Such attention could boost the game's viewership overseas and attract new fans in areas where women's basketball is still relatively unknown. Michael Jordan's role adds even more complexity to this tale. This individual altered players' perceptions of endorsements. His line of Air Jordans established the benchmark for athletic branding. Caitlin Clark is also deserving of great recognition. It's possible that she concentrated solely on her business and personal wealth. Rather, she's taking a more comprehensive approach and utilizing her connections to assist other gamers in earning a living. For women's sports, this kind of rising tide lifts all boats mindset is essential. This acquisition could have a significant impact on the WNBA's future operations. Discussions over collective bargaining agreements and wage caps may be impacted if athletes are able to earn a sizable sum of money through endorsements. The league may have to adjust to a new reality in which endorsements play a major role in player salary. This is a wise long-term investment for Nike. The popularity of women's sports will only increase. They're portraying themselves as the company that supported women's basketball before it became popular by getting engaged and taking risks. Sophie is under pressure to deliver now. However, her career to date indicates that she is prepared for it. Nike did not choose a player at random. They choose a person who exemplifies the ideals they wish associated with their brand. Will similar deals take place in the future? Will more former celebrities invest in women's sports like Jordan did? Will more companies be inspired to take a chance on WNBA players by Sophie's success? Women's basketball will never be the same. That much is certain. People notice when Caitlin Clark and Michael Jordan give someone $27 million out of the blue. The subject shifts. There, a little youngster honing her jump shot realized that her goals are far more important than anything anyone had ever taught her. Wearing Nike clothing is the way of the future.